Hello, we are going to work with Inventor. We're going to make a part. So last time we did an intro. This is going to be kind of like, let's call this Inventor 1 in case we make more. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this NIMS part here. Okay, top view, front view, right side view. Okay. Typically, when we do Inventor, if you remember, I told you we're going to do X, Y. That would be this top view. Would be X and Y, and Z would be coming out towards me at the screen, or down here up would be Z. Two possible scenarios. If I flipped to a different view, I could draw this outside shape profile and then give it depth, but we're going to stay with this. And how we're going to do this is we're first going to build a block that's the whole thing, the whole height. So 1 3/8 high, 2.5 long, and 1.875. So we're going to make a rectangle 1.875 by 2.5. Okay, that's how we're going to do this. So first we got to make a sketch, 2D. I'm going to pick my XY plane here, and I'm going to make a rectangle. Makes it a lot easier, because if I do a rectangle, I can pick this corner, make the little green dot, come up. Now I have dimensions right there. So that was 2.5, and it was 1.875 wide. I can't see it all. If I double click on the wheel, it makes it all fit. 2.5, 1.875. Let me double check my print just to make sure. 2.5 long, 1.875 wide. Now I'm going to go up 1.375. So I'm going to build it all the way up, and then I'm going to cut this other stuff off, basically, is what I'm going to do. So I believe I said that was 1.375. So I'm going to finish my sketch. Double click so I can see it. I like my sketch to be on top, so I'm going to extrude away. Extrude meaning I'm going to give it 3D or depth. So I want it, since it's closed, it automatically says, hey, this must be what you want to do. I do want to go the other way. My distance is 1.375. Boom. There we go. And so now I have my block. And I'm going to make a sketch on this top surface. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this. So I'm going to make a rectangle that goes from this corner to this corner. I'm going to dimension this width. So that's 2.5 minus 1.5. So that means this is 1 inch. And we're going to cut it down from the top down to here. So 1.375 minus 0.75. And fortunately, Inventor does math. So 2D sketch, put it on the front here. And I'm going to do a rectangle from this corner down to this corner. But over here, the highlighted dimension is 1 inch and some change. I know it's 1 inch because it was 2.5 minus 1.5, so that's 1.0. Enter. There it is. Finish my sketch. I'm going to cut that down, and if I remember correctly, I'm going to cut it down 1.375 minus 0.75. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to say extrude. I'm going to cut down, and I'm going to go 1.375 minus 0.75, and the difference is that. Boom. Now I got the step. So now, actually and honestly, my part really it's going to look like that if I go and look at this. This is the way it's oriented. So now I'm going to cut this off. So it is 1.5 minus 1, so that's a ½ inch. And it is 1.375 minus 1.125, so it's 0.250 deep. ½ inch wide, 250 deep. So I'm going to make another sketch on here. I'm going to say sketch, 2D, this surface. I like rectangle, so I'm going to stay with rectangle. Pick that corner, come down to this bottom here, and I'm going to say that was, oops, let's get that back up there. That was 0.5. There's that. Finish my sketch. And I said it was 0.250 deep, I believe. Let me double check. 1375 minus 1125 is 0.25. So I'm going to extrude down. It knows, but I'm going to go down 0.25. Starting to look like the part, huh? Now I got to cut this middle part out. Now here's where thinking a little bit will help. So it's this section here. If I look at this, it is centered 875 minus 1.875, or I'm sorry, 1.875 minus 875 means this an inch divided by 2, half over here, half over there. That means each one of these is a ½ inch. Okay. And from the top surface down to here, this is 1 inch, and that's 375. So that means it's 375. Get out of here. Deep. So these are ½ inch. So let's quickly get over here. Let's make a sketch. We're going to go on this surface. I said sketch on this surface. There we go. Bring it down. Again, I'm going to go with rectangles. I'm going to go from this corner. And I can extend it beyond where I need it to be. I don't care about the length. That's the highlighted blue one. If I hit the tab button, it'll allow me to go to the other one. So I can toggle back and forth. So that's 0.5. Okay, now I can make another rectangle from this corner because they're both there. And it really doesn't matter if it's not the right length because I know we're going to go through here and cut into this. So I don't care about the length. Tab, I'll make it 0.5. Boom, there we go. Finish my sketch. So now I got to cut those down. 0.375. Go down. I got to pick it and pick this one too. See how it's cutting them down, but not the right amount. So 0.375. Oh, wait. I don't want that. Made a mistake. I don't want to get rid of those. I want to get rid of what's left. Cancel. Poop. So let's come back and this sketch, we're just going to right click and delete it. We're going to create a new sketch. Only take an extra minute. We do want to make a rectangle, but I want to make it in the center section. Okay? Oopsie, let me zoom in a little bit. Boom, something like that. I don't have any dimensions. I can obviously see that it's not centered, and it's supposed to be a ½ inch. So I'm going to dimension from that line to this line, and I'm going to make it 0.5. I'm going to dimension from that line to that line. Come on. New. Cancel. Escape. Delete. From this line to this line. There we go. 0.5. There we go. So now I have what I want. Finish my sketch because we want to cut the middle out, not the outside. So I'm going to extrude it down 375. Now notice, even though I'm hanging over, there's really nothing for it to cut out, so it's no big deal. Let's go back here. There we go. So it's no big deal. Boom, there it is. There's my part. I should save it. So now I have some holes to put in. I'm going to put in this hole and this hole. I'm not going to put in this one. I'm going to show you. I'm going to make a slot here instead, because sometimes we have to make a slot, and there's a nice way to make them. Okay, so 812 and 1687. Notice how it's dimensioned. So when I put the hole there, I should dimension it the same way it's dimensioned here, from this edge and from here. Otherwise, things aren't going to be right. Okay, so Inventor, let's go to this top view. I am going to start a sketch. My sketch is going to be this top surface. I'm going to make a center point, approximately where that is. I'm going to make another one on this side over here. Okay, now I'm going to dimension them from that point to here. It was 0.812, 0.812, and enter, and it was dimensioned from here to here this way. We better look at the dimensions again. 812, 1687, 1.687, boom. It's not right. 3, escape to get out of the command. Double click, 1.687. There we go. So there's my point. Now I got to dimension this one. Oh, pick dimension, point, edge. I don't remember the dimension, so we better go look. It is 125 by 250. So this is 0.125. And this dimension here and here is 0.25. There we go. So now I'm done. So the reason I do a point instead of a circle is because I can put a whole bunch of data or get free data when I define the hole. So I'm going to go flip, go on the isometric. I like to see that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the hole command. Hole. Now it's a 125 reamed hole, 1/2 inch deep. So I'm going to, it's a regular looking drilled hole. It's a 1/2 inch deep. It's 125. And automatically pick those up. I don't have to do anything. Okay, boom, there they are. Save, it makes you happy. Okay, so let's say I had a slot here. 1/2 inch wide slot and by 1 1/4 long. Okay, just making this up. So what I would do is I would just make a sketch, pick that surface, and the easiest way to do this is put a circle that's the right size, and I said it was a 1/2 inch, 0.5. Make another circle. Now I want them to be in line. I know I want them to be in line because I want it to be straight up and down. If I didn't, if it was on an angle, I would pick so I don't get any of those dashed lines, because once I get the dashed lines, I get locked into constraints with that. But I do want to, boom, size 0.5. Okay, so I have to dimension its location. So the easiest way to do it is to the center and the edge, because that's probably where it's dimensioned from. And let's say in this case it was 0.45. Now this one moved, but this one did not. Couple of ways. I could make these in line with this coincidence, probably. But it's probably just easiest to dimension this 2.45. Now I have to dimension the center distance. Okay, I know a particular part where it's dimensioned to the center distance, so we're going to go with the center distance. So I'm going to here. Let's say it's 1 inch. That's what I said. Now, this thing is not necessarily centered. See, it's wider here than it is here. I've got it dimensioned left to right. I've got it dimensioned center to center on these holes, but I do not have it dimensioned from the edge of the part. So I'm going to dimension here and here. I said here and here. Cancel. Let's do this again. Pick here. Pick here. Why aren't I getting it? Escape. I don't like what's going on, so I'm going to escape. I'm going to move, zoom in a little bit, come back, pick this edge, pick the point. There we go. Let's say it's supposed to be 375. Boom, 0.375. It shifts both of the holes because they're tied together with this dimension. Okay, so almost done. What you say? Almost done, trust me. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So now I'm going to take a line and I'm going to go tangent. It lights up at the quadrant. 0, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees. So that happens to be the quadrant. This works perfect for up and down or horizontal. If it's on an angle, I have to use a tangent constraint. Okay, tangent. I don't need to do that now because it's vertical, so pick there. Notice how the little yellow dot there snaps, pick there. Now I'm going to make a line again, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Pick, snap. There, it's done. So, but this doesn't look like a slot left yet because of this. Escape a couple of times to get out of the command. And I'm going to use this command called trim. You can use trim, which cuts a line off, and extend, which will make it grow. So we're going to do trim, get rid of the part I don't want. So if I was going to extend it back, I could take that and extend, and it brings it back. Okay, I need to trim, so I'm going to trim that. You pick the part you want to get rid of. Boom, there's my slot. Finish my sketch. Let's go to a view that kind of looks like making the part. Isometric, there we go. Let's say my slot's going to be 3/8 deep. Normal process. Go down. I have to pick and say 3/8 deep. Boom, say OK. Create extruded for each problem is incurred when extruding. Huh, interesting. This is not supposed to happen. So, do this. Oh. This is join. This is cut. So, might have to pick cut to cut that out of there. Yes, that was the problem. Okay, so if I go back to this extrusion, double click on it, because let's say it was supposed to be 1/4 inch deep. So up here is join. This is cut. And this is intersection. Normally it highlights. So that was the problem. So if you have any issues, go through and pick this. But I wanted it to be 1/4 deep. Okay, there we go. So now I have a slot. I have holes. And this is a process on how to do this. And this should get you set up with some basics in Inventor. All right. See you next time.